Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're basically grabbing a field guide and diving into the wild territory of the teenage brain. We're going to decode the science behind why they do what they do, hopefully to help you navigate this fascinating and, let's be honest, pretty complex time. Does this sound familiar? One minute they're your sweet, chatty kid, and the next, everything you say gets a sigh or a slam door. Look, if you're feeling totally exhausted or just disconnected, you are so not alone. And it turns out there are actual scientific reasons for what you're seeing. So here's what we're covering in this explainer. First, what's going on with their brain's construction project. Then, how to spot red flags. We'll also get you a communication toolkit. And finally, how to build a more balanced life for everyone. Okay, let's just dive right in. The key to understanding a teenager, it's knowing about the massive construction project that's happening, right between their ears. It's noisy, it's messy, and wow, does it explain a lot. So check this out. There's a huge difference in how a teen's brain processes things versus an adult's. Their brain is running on the amygdala. That's the emotional gut reaction center. It's like their emotions are in 4K high def, but their logic center, it's still on dial-up. They're all feeling. I mean, get this. Research shows that when teens look at a picture of a totally neutral adult face, they often see anger. They're literally wired to perceive the world differently. And while all that's happening, the brain is also doing this major tidying up job called synaptic pruning. You can think of it like a huge spring clean for the brain's wiring. It's getting rid of all the connections that aren't being used to make the whole system way more efficient for adulthood. And this process, it's crucial. It shapes everything from how they act with friends to how they respond to rewards. Now, this is maybe the most important part. That rational bit of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, the brain's CEO, the part that's in charge of planning ahead and controlling impulses, that doesn't fully finish developing until their mid-20s. Mid-20s! And that really gets to the heart of it, right? You've got this supercharged emotional engine, but the driver, that prefrontal cortex, is basically a student driver with a learner's permit. This massive gap creates what scientists call decision noise. It's why they make such impulsive choices and are so much more influenced by their friends and their feelings. Okay. So now we kind of get the why behind all the drama and moodiness. So let's move on to figuring out the difference between just normal teenage stuff and the signs that maybe something more serious is happening. I mean, your one sweet kid now argues about everything. Their style is completely different. Their friends are suddenly their entire universe. So is this normal or is it a red flag? Honestly, knowing how to tell the difference is probably one of the most critical skills you can have. So let's break this down. Look at this chart. Moodiness, totally typical. Irritability, mood swings, that's part of the deal. But persistent sadness, anxiety, or any talk of suicide, that is a huge warning sign. Arguing about rules? Yeah, that's them trying to be independent. But if it's constantly escalating into violence or getting the law involved, that's different. And friends becoming more important? 100% normal. But a sudden drastic change to a peer group that's all about negative behavior, that's when you need to pay closer attention. Even when it feels like they're pushing you away with every fiber of their being, your teen still desperately needs your love and approval. They really do. So how do we bridge that gap? Well, it starts with having the right tools in your toolkit. And here's the very first step, and it's all about you. You have to check your own stress levels. Seriously, if you're angry or frazzled, that is not the time to try and connect. You're going to need a whole lot of patience, so it's way better to wait until you're calm before you even start the conversation. All right, so when that emotional outburst inevitably happens, here's your playbook. Step 1, just listen. Don't interrupt, don't correct, just let them get it all out. Step 2, offer some real empathy. Something as simple as, wow, that sounds really tough. Step 3, validate what they're feeling. Instead of saying you're overreacting, try, I get why you're so upset about that. Once they actually feel heard, then, and only then, can you start helping them figure out how to cope. And finally, offer to help them problem solve. Don't just jump in with advice. And this right here really gets to the heart of it. Most of the time, your teen isn't actually looking for a solution from you. They just want to feel heard. They want to know that you understand and that their feelings matter. If you can create that safe space for them, free of judgment, well, that's the foundation for everything. Okay, last section. Let's talk about building a balanced life at home. I mean, communication is obviously key, but it's the stable, supportive foundation you create that really gives their developing brain what it needs to thrive. So think of these 4 things as the pillars of a balanced life for your teen. First, structure. Yeah, they'll push back, but regular stuff like meal times and bedtimes actually gives them a sense of security they really need. Second, screen time. We've got to limit it, especially before bed. Third, exercise. It's just a powerhouse for relieving stress and boosting their mood. And the last pillar, sleep. It might just be the most important one of all. 8.5 to 10, that's how many hours of sleep a teenager needs. Every single night. You might think you're fine on 6 hours, but they are not. When they don't get enough sleep, they get stressed, moody, irritable. Does any of that sound familiar? See, it's not just about attitude, it's straight up biology. And here's exactly why that number is so critical. Brain scans show that not getting enough sleep directly weakens that prefrontal cortex. Remember, the brain's CEO? This makes them even more likely to make those risky, impulsive decisions we talked about. A lack of sleep literally throws their brain's whole system out of balance. So if there's one big takeaway, it's this. When you understand the biology, the construction zone in their head, how critical sleep is, it changes your whole perspective. You can stop being the opponent in a fight and start being their guide on this pretty wild journey to becoming an adult. Hopefully, with this little field guide, the teenage brain feels a bit less alien. So I'll leave you with this question. What's just one small change you can make this week to try and reconnect? Maybe it's just putting the phones away during dinner, or taking a moment to just listen, really listen. It's these small steps that support the amazing adult they're on their way to becoming.